starts with a hunger, an unrequited love in this case, but it doesn't end there. It gnaws away at your self-worth, weighs heavy on how you relate to friends and family, keeps you awake at night, wondering why you can't connect. It bugs you day after day. You alter your routine just to catch a glimpse of her on the way home from school. You take long, dark walks into the winter night, watch the streetlights dance on crisp snow, and let your slippered feet sink deeper into the freezing cold. You walk further afield through woodland under stars, bare branches creaking, undeterred night sounds on, sinking deeper into the well of yourself, becoming unwell. You can't see a way out of this trench called life but to go deeper underground permanently. You go out one night and with a lousy bottle of ale down a load of painkillers. You try to sleep in a barn but you fail at life, fail at death, stomach pumped, stuck in hospital for days. This alters your trajectory somewhat, better alone or worse. 3 years later, you read lines reflecting your own thoughts. You decide to pick up a pen and take the plunge, bleed the poison, and keep it going into adulthood. Call it poetry, call it prose, but this is hunger, this craving, this striving for that which is out of reach. Forge ahead, dark heart, you can endure.
Whoa.
That's very much, that's a dark way to start, seasonal but dark. People often ask me how I became a writer, and I should just really give them a copy of that poem. This next one, it came from a marathon writing prompt, and the prompt was something like, did they fold the ends of the toilet paper over? Recall the first or worst time you stayed in a hotel. Fuck hotels! After away gigs, real hardcore rock fans sleep in bus shelters or behind wheelie bins in sleeping bags on top of cardboard boxes when it's snowing real hard in Sheffield on a Saturday night back in 1988. Or what about that time in Leeds under the steps near the Polly with a novice rough sleeper showing the ropes, getting the best cardboard, running round the back alleys by the bins behind department stores, large fridge boxes or washing machines. And speaking of washing, come sunrise you feel like you've been dipped in silt. Eyes red raw and a migraine like someone slowly driving a Black & Decker drill bit through your left socket. It's great being young, the good old days. Now, it's guest houses all the way, like the one again in Sheffield, but on the website it was supposed to be 10 minutes walk from the city centre, but everyone you stop to ask for directions looks at you like you've just stepped down a fucking Neptune, back and forth, try flagging a taxi, they'll have your flaming arm off. So it's another bus ride back to the train station to give the driver at the taxi rank the address for a destination, which is actually someplace way out in the suburbs, where you're greeted by a landlord whose only concern is how to get an unspecified consignment through customs. He doesn't show you to your room, but asks for your take on the situation. And to cap it all off, he's fucking deaf in one ear. Sorry, was that 2 lumps of sugar or 3? Mind if I fart? You're sitting at a rickety old kitchen table. Its vinyl top covered in breadcrumbs and tabash, and it's like, maybe the bus shelter would have been the better option. I don't care if they've lost your passport. I just want the key to the room. I'm not a customs officer. I'm here to see Emily Orton. And in case you're wondering who Emily Orton is, she's an American violin virtuoso who's been playing metal-edged songs to the dispossessed for the last 5 years, I think. This next one is called Diamonds of Death Street. Death Street is where the vampire kids meet. See them in pants-stick, black lip gloss and high heels, charcoal eyes, ragged fishnet thighs and melancholic sighs. It's Death Street, but the goths are alright. It's Death Street. Don't try to pick a fight, just stagger on back to the big market and drain your favourite swill. These kids are all back theatrics and will soon be flapping wings above the coast of Whitby where the townsfolk appreciate the macabre. It's Death Street, snake bite and black leather, crushed velvet, purple, red and silver, spiderwebs and spikes, rock boots and bloodshot eyes. The dead girls and boys are back in town. Why would you crawl by day when you can fly by night? These princes of darkness, queen vampires, disciples, ghosting over cracked pavements. The sky is a belly of bruised excess, about to burst and christen these killer kids. They look out of this world, cut down, dug up and plugged into the mains. Don't give them grief because you're too square to try something different with your thinning hair. Don't get all homophobic on the boy with mascara and pierced nipple exposed. He wouldn't give you a second glance. Why are you so threatened by this cabaret of the damned? It's a beautiful carnival of the grotesque, and it beats Sky Sports Premier League to the Belfry any night of the week. Coming back in the Cadillac, black of course, we marvel at the vitality of the vampires. We're going to hire them for our next corporate function. They're the little dark diamonds of Death Street. Give them a smile and they'll show you their fans. Go on. Don't you wish you had the guts to look like Halloween 365 days a year too? There's a line in a Dresden Dolls song that says, "Nothing is crueler than kids who come from good homes." This is called the happiest days of their lives. It was nearing the end of term, and everyone was getting restless. Plans were being hatched. Egg fights on the bus, flower bombs, custard pies for the teachers, and for certain individuals, one or two special surprises. "We're going to cut your hair off," they threatened, but he just smiled. A few days passed and the threats were repeated. "We're going to cut your hair off." Still, he didn't seem bothered. School was the least of his worries. In fact, they practically let him get away with murder. No regard for the uniform, never touched a piece of homework. The days passed and the last was almost upon them. "We're going to cut your hair off, Thompson. We're going to get you after registration and give you a crew cut." He turned, smiled, walked towards them. Then grabbed one of the kids by the throat. "Come anywhere near me with a pair of scissors and I'll have your fucking eyes out. Got a shit stain?" Then he smiled, let go of the kid, and walked off down the corridor to his art lesson.
Hey.
Christmas is coming and the kids are getting spoilt. So as we hurtle towards further economic meltdown, I'm going to leave you with this final rant. And this is called Lessons from the Voice of Experience. He will learn, among other things, how to enjoy personal sacrifice. Like Jenny and Claire said on Grumpy Old Women, all children should be relieved of their Xboxes, their £80 Reebok trainers, their iPods, internet connections and dial-em-on taxi services, and be expected to sit on a wall, kicking their heels against crumbling brickwork, bored to bits for the entire 3 weeks holiday. He will learn, among other things, how to find enjoyment in simple pleasures, such as helping Grandad creosote the back fence, the lush aroma of tin and brush clogging his airways. "Ask for my big toenail, nothing the matter with you, can't pull the wool over my eyes, I might be 68, but I can still run rings around layabouts half my age." He will learn, among other things, how to enjoy the way sunlight falls across a beige carpet, how at other times it illuminates the far wall and allows him to find a shadow, upon which he will be prompted to consider how lucky he is not to have to endure the indignity of 2 years' national service. He will learn, among other things, that silence is indeed golden, and no amount of AC/DC, Eminem, Pussycat Dolls, Led Zeppelin, Girls Aloud, My Chemical Romance, or Cradle of Filth cranked up to 11 will convince us otherwise. Eventually he will realise that he is not the be-all and end-all, not the centre of the bloody universe. He is a hooded youth, catapulted through adolescence by raging hormones and the egging of his obnoxious peers. Go ahead, sunshine, scoff while you can, because after the winter holiday, it's solid graft every step of the way. Thanks very much for listening. Cheers.